Do Germans actually celebrate Halloween? Yeah, yes and no. If you walk through a German neighborhood on October 31st, you might see nothing special, or maybe a single pumpkin sitting next to a recycling bin. But trust me, in certain ways, Halloween does exist in Germany. It's just a little different. Where Halloween came from. So first things first, Halloween didn't actually start in America. It goes back to the ancient Celtic festival called Samhain. It marked the end of summer and the end of the harvest season. Then it mixed with Christian traditions like All Hallows Eve, and by the way, that's where the word Halloween comes from, if you haven't noticed already. All Hallows Eve literally means the evening before All Saints' Day, which is a Christian holiday celebrated on November 1st, when people honor all saints and martyrs. It is also officially a holiday in Germany called Allerheiligen. Fast forward a few centuries and America turned it into the massive holiday we know today, with costumes, candy, and more spookiness. Then in the 1990s, Germany said, yeah, okay, let's do that too. Mostly because of movies, TV shows, and clever marketing. Supermarkets realized that they could sell more candy in October. And boom, Halloween was also a thing in Germany. Trick-or-treating in Germany. Now, Americans have their famous trick-or-treat. In Germany, kids say Süßes oder Saures, which literally translates into sweets or sours. Another slightly different form of saying that is Süßes oder es gibt Saures, which is more direct and kind of says, give me candy or I will prank you. I know, it's pretty cheeky, isn't it? German kids are something else. I mean, I was a German kid too, so what can I say? But I was more polite. I hope. Trick-or-treating in Germany isn't something you see everywhere. It's more common in big cities or near neighborhoods. In small towns, if you knock on a random door, people might just ask you if you're lost, or just don't open the door because they don't care. That's pretty different from the US, where it feels like a big event almost everywhere. But even in bigger German cities, it still is not quite the same as in the US, where you see young children and even young adults trick-or-treating in most neighborhoods. I used to go trick-or-treating in Germany with a bunch of friends, and I remember how many stairs we had to climb. Because in cities, there are barely any single family houses like in the US. There are more bigger apartment buildings. Still, I enjoyed it a lot. You would usually see families with small children walking around or groups of teenagers wandering the streets, sometimes just pranking others and occasionally even causing trouble, like vandalism. It could actually be a bit scary the first few times I went without any adults, because there were other groups of teenagers throwing eggs at people, and once one of my friends even got hit on his head, and yeah, he started crying. So we pulled our pea shooters and threw a few things back while trying to run away. It honestly felt a bit like a children's gang fight, which sounds so American, doesn't it? Costumes and parties. Now let's talk about costumes, because that's where things get interesting. In the US, people go crazy creative. You will see, I don't know, SpongeBob, Elon Musk, a banana, basically anything. In Germany, people usually stick to the classic spooky costumes, you know, ghosts, witches, vampires, zombies, maybe the occasional bloody doctor or pirate, I don't know. That's one big difference from the US, where people wear all kinds of random stuff, as I mentioned. Germans save their silly creative costumes for another holiday, which is Carnival or Fasching. Also, adults mostly use Halloween as an excuse to throw parties or club events. So while kids get candy, the adults get Jägermeister. Why do I pronounce German words with an English accent? It's called Jägermeister and not Jägermeister. Jägermeister! Number 4. Decorations and vibes. Okay, so if you walk through an American neighborhood, you will see massive haunted house setups, and I love it. People put a lot of effort into their decorations. One of my neighbors has a huge Jack Skellington figure that is almost the size of a house. Others like to cover everything in spider webs or even set up animatronics that light up, move, and make creepy sounds. I'm a huge fan of this kind of engagement because it gives the whole season a really spooky vibe. In the US, there's also this huge Halloween store called Spirit Halloween. That's where you can buy all the decorations and costumes and much more. If you're interested, I actually went inside one of these stores and filmed it, so check out one of these videos from my other channel. I've also listed it in my video description if you'd like to see it. In Germany, it's more minimalistic, I would say. You know, you can have a pumpkin here, maybe a spider web there, and some people just light candles for atmosphere during this season. Number 5. Food and drinks. Of course, no German celebration is complete without food. You will find people bake Halloween-themed muffins, spooky cupcakes, and tons of pumpkin soup. I'm not kidding, my father loves to make pumpkin soup like a few times a week during fall. I would say pumpkin soup is a big thing, and we call it Kürbissuppe. Kürbis means pumpkin, and Suppe means soup. Bakeries love to join too. They sometimes sell little skull cookies or donuts with a spider web frosting, and some supermarkets also sell limited edition scary Halloween themed candy, which is pretty similar to the US. I would say the US does the same, but on steroids. So here are my final thoughts. Honestly, even though I'm from Germany, I actually prefer the American modern version of Halloween. Even if it's super commercialized, there's just something about the atmosphere, the decorations, and how everyone gets involved. It's more like a community thing here. Back in Germany, Halloween wasn't a big deal a few decades ago. While it already was a huge thing in the US, most Germans barely even knew what trick-or-treating was. It's only in more recent years that Halloween started becoming more popular in Germany, especially among younger people and in bigger cities. So yeah, that's how Germans celebrate Halloween. A little spooky, a little bit more direct, and just a bit different. If you like this one, check out my other videos. See you the next time. Happy Halloween! Or as we say in German, Süßes, oder es gibt Saures.